All right, folks. This isn't just about Fred Turner, obviously. This is just one of them people making up fake names and making up profiles to harass me with. The difference between when I made profiles and these people who harass me and threaten me and so on and so forth, call me all sorts of nasty names that aren't true, is that I always admitted who I was. Always. My predators get away. I can't go to the cops. I'd love to, I tried. Now, then there's what American society teaches me that I'm supposed to do. According to American society, I'm supposed to kill these people, but I'm against killing. Kind of makes it difficult, don't it? There's your expectations as a society that grew up on Hollywood movies where cops can go out and kill whoever they want. They can lie and they can cheat and they can steal as long as they catch the bad guy. It's just like that in real life. Or they can lie and cheat and steal, but it's not always to catch the bad guy. Most of the time, it's not about catching the bad guy. It's about making sure somebody goes down for it. Now, this Fred Turner person keeps posting up stuff to basically be a troll. I'm also going to bring up a video from a lady that, well, she was in prison. A lot of her experiences you might actually listen to because she's a woman. Just like a lot of the situations with being autistic. You know, I post up a lot of videos from guys who are autistic who explain this stuff, but y'all would rather watch a pretty face. That's why annamoomin. Annamoomin is pretty. I post her stuff up not because she says things better than other people. It's not that she has a greater presence as far as her message goes than any of these males who are doing it, or even any of these other females. It's the fact that you guys are more likely to retain some, well, obviously, audience retention. And that's a lot easier if you're pretty. That's why we use pretty actresses in movies. That's why we use pretty women and pretty men for the news. Now we're going to try to use my camera here. We'll see if it'll actually pick up what I'm trying to show you. It should. Um, let's see. We'll go to notifications. And we'll see what this person has to say. We'll read the first comment. The first comment, he commented on a video. He typed, kind of like how you stalk and harass people, you pedophile motherfucker. He actually typed that. Let's see if it'll focus in. I hope so. Maybe if I put it in further, it'll realize that that's what I needed it to focus in on. Come on now. On the bright side, you can't say I'm not making an effort. Maybe if I shake it sideways and do it this way, maybe that'll work. All right, the very bottom one was the first one, so we'll go bottom to top. Fred Turner commented, mind you, I'm reading this backwards, so if it doesn't come out right, I'm sorry. It says, kind of like how you stalk and harass people, you pedophile motherfucker. Pleasant feller. And then he commented, harassment of government officials is a crime. You're going to be going to jail again for menacing again. LOL, fucking retard. Lovely, isn't he? Quite fucking pleasant, isn't he? Fred Terminer commented, if anything happens to you, oh well. God, fucking pleasant, isn't he? And then he typed, cops be knocking on your door soon, menacing number 2 coming up, beep beep. Now, mind you, this is just another troll. Now, there is proof that this guy exists, and I can go through his videos or his comments, and I can click the magic button here. What does the magic button do? Well, let's go to it. Oh, he erased it already. Smart guy. We'll go to this one. I guess I have to do it on the computer, don't I? That's all right. Oh, that one's not there. Maybe this one's there. Nope, he erased that one too. Hide user from this channel. Blam. So easy. If only it was that easy in real life to get rid of your predators. You click a button and they disappear. Now, if you'll notice, even though I hid that user from my channel, the comments are still up there. It's still on my notifications. They don't go away. That's where Ted Bollinger screwed up when he was on his daughter's account, harassing me at my grandmother's funeral. Now, of course, this is fine and acceptable socially, isn't it? Now let's go to Jessica Kent. I like Jessica Kent. She speaks out about, well, real things that happen in prison. How the guards actually treat you. What it's like being in solitary. What it's like to have your rights denied as a human being, even though you have these rights as an inmate. Well, the assholes who run the place can deny your rights whenever they want for any reason they want, no matter what. There's not a goddamn thing you can do unless you are Britney Spears. Which brings me to my next point. The term mentally ill. This woman got into a fight with another woman. This other woman was a pedophile. She did horrible, horrible, horrible things to her son. Now, this lady here, make sure that I get her name right. Oh, the Sutton Hoo find. That's cool. That's not related to this. That's related to Roman artifacts and also Asian artifacts. It's quite amazing. Anyway, this woman's name is Jessica Kent, and she used the term mentally ill to try to justify beating this woman up. Well, calling her mentally ill does not justify it. Matter of fact, it makes it more illegal. If somebody is mentally ill, they're disabled. That's just how it is. If somebody's got PTSD, they are denied the right to turn in their predators in many cases because they are called mentally ill. Mentally ill is like using the N-word as an excuse to commit hate crimes against black people. Oh, well, they're the N-word. Oh, well, they're the N-word. Really? Does that make it okay? No, it doesn't. Our society today says that that is wrong. But our society does not say that it's wrong to do it to somebody who is disabled. We write it down on paper that it's wrong, but in reality, how is it really? Now, we got two types of inmates. We got the inmates that are there because they committed a crime, and then you've got inmates who are there who did not commit a crime, or rather, did not commit the crime that they're there for. In my case, I was literally in prison in Nebraska because of our population and because people don't want to spend money on, well, like the jail here in town. We have a jail. It hasn't been used in probably 3 decades. So when you go to jail, you got to go to jail somewhere else. Even if you're charged with a misdemeanor, Dual County can ship you all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska, hundreds of miles away from anybody who can help you. While you're in there, all these inmates got problems. Most of them are pretty loud, screaming and shouting and hooting and hollering and telling each other they're going to rape each other and they're going to rape each other's families and they're going to kill each other's families and all sorts of, the crazy shit that I've had to deal with most of my life. When I grew up in the system as a kid, it's not much different. It's actually more dangerous as a kid. It's more violent as a kid. Prison's a lot easier. Of course, a lot of people never went into the juvenile system, so they don't know shit. See, here's the difference between a prison and a juvenile facility. Most juvenile facilities, they automatically assume that you're mentally ill and they can do whatever they want to you. Most of the sex that happened between inmates and guards while I was at the prison in Lincoln was consensual between the prisoner and the guard. Mind you, these are mostly male prisoners and these are mostly female guards. So, yeah, in that case, an inmate cannot give legal consent for a sexual act, which makes those female predators actual predators. What they did isn't just immoral, it is highly illegal. I mean, we're talking about 20 years felonious illegal or more. At the point that a guard gets caught having sex with an inmate, that guard has committed sexual assault. Literally, it is sexual assault. Usually they get a slap on the wrist and get fired. Ooh, that's the problem we got. Slapping pedophiles on the wrists, slapping rapists on the wrists, letting them go free, victimizing the shit out of their victims. This ain't right. So then you've got the inmates that they think it's all right for them to hoot and holler. They're in there because they actually committed a crime, many of them murder and child molestation. And you're stuck in there with these guys. You haven't even committed a crime. You're being charged with misdemeanors because you tried to turn in Robert Warnick, Leslie Snell, William Barr, and of course, Sheriff Scott DaCosta. So those four people worked together and called in all of their buddies for help. Scott DaCosta called in help from all the neighboring counties, all of them. Yeah, I want you to think about that. I'm told that I can't take any of this to any of these other departments because it's out of jurisdiction. But Scott DaCosta can ask these other departments for help in covering up his crimes against me, and they all jump on board. This includes the Nebraska State Patrol. How screwed up is that? We got Garden County over in that direction. We got Cheyenne County in that direction. Those are just two of the departments that Scott DaCosta called up. Kept on calling up these places and telling them I was schizophrenic over and over again, just pounding that in. Everywhere I went, when I ended up going to the hospital, he was calling up the hospital and telling the nurse I was schizophrenic. Of course, I went and saw my therapist, and according to her, I am not schizophrenic, I'm not delusional, and I'm not bipolar. These are all the things that Scott DaCosta was counting on to get away with his crimes. These are all things that Leslie Snell was counting on to get away with her crimes. These are all the things that the officers in the state of Colorado were counting on to get away with their crimes. And they got away with those crimes by calling me mentally ill and loosely associating it as schizophrenic or as crazy and violent as this woman. What's it say? Oh, I lost it again. Her name's on here. Uh, anyway, Jessica Kent. So there's a lot of situations when you're locked up that she talks about that she's absolutely right about. But using the term mentally ill to try to justify a crime that she committed, not okay. She says it's okay to defend yourself. It absolutely is. You're still going to get in trouble. They're still going to lock you up in restrictive housing, but at least you're not dead. At least they didn't cave in your eye socket. One of the guys that I was locked up with, he was in special segregation. That's because after getting his face stomped in, they had to surgically cut off his face, reconstruct the bone underneath, and then reattach his face. So he's not allowed to be around any inmates whatsoever. When he goes out for a walk, all of the other inmates have to go into their cells. Is it our fault that he got beat up? No. Is it our fault that he had surgery? No. Are we all punished for it? Well, in a roundabout way, yes. But another thing to bring up is the sheer quantity of abuse at the hands of the guards. I mean, if you're abused by another inmate, the guards let it happen. 100% of the time, the guards let it happen. In some cases, the guards actually went and unlocked people's cell doors so that other inmates could gain access to them. It's pretty nasty. Now, I kept documentation the best that I could. Yes, it's getting moldy. Um, that's just the way life goes. Sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's humid. You never know. But this has got a lot of stuff on it. It talks about some of the people that I was locked up with. Oh, that wouldn't be this one. I have some of these from Lincoln Correctional Center. I have some of them from Scotts Bluff. This one's got a lot of information on it. You can just barely see it, I guess, but it's written about different complaints that I made while I was there that weren't ever taken seriously. That's the thing, is that if you're an inmate and you're writing these things, they're going to ignore all of them, especially if it's a major problem. Like if you're assaulted by the guards, they're going to play stupid the whole time. Okay, they're going to pretend like they don't know what's going on, or they don't know this or that or the other. They know everything there is to know when it comes to punishing you, but magically when one of their guards does something wrong, or several of their guards do something wrong, they're magically ignorant. They magically don't know nothing. They, well, are living in the realm of fantasy. um let's see, this one's about the therapist that I spoke with. It's also about, let's see, Jen Beebe and others. Let's see, it says Jen Beebe used her position at Region 1 to retaliate, so her willingness to abuse her position at the jail to retaliate is a severe safety issue. I asked her if her name was Jen Beebe, but she ignored me. I asked the lady at the desk in booking if the lady she was working with was named Jen Beebe. The lady nodded no to me. Jen was quite cocky with her body language. Later, I asked Jen if her name was Jen Beebe. She stepped up with a bad attitude and yelled at me, "No, my name is Officer Beebe." What a fucking cunt. Um, let's see. And yelled it several more times. Then I tried to get Sergeant Lopez to show up to address the obvious safety issue. I was ignored. Jen Beebe denied ever visiting me at the jail, but I pointed out that the room we met in was only 5 feet behind her. Two other female staff took part in the BS of ignoring me, asking for Sergeant Lopez. One was Corporal Aragon, whose name I just got from Corporal Evans in medical wing, although there are no medical staff here. Anyway, when I was finally able to get Miss Lopez to stop, it was after Miss Aragon had told me Miss Lopez was busy a few times. When I started to explain the safety issue to Miss Lopez had already ignored me several times. Miss Aragon told me she probably didn't hear you. I said, I am scared to speak any louder because I don't want her to accuse me of yelling and use it as an excuse not to listen. So, after several hours, Ramona Lopez stopped at my cell to yell at me and berate me. She tried to pretend that there was no safety risk with Jen Beebe and would not allow me to finish a sentence. Sergeant Lopez kept saying things like, "Well, what did you end up in jail?" And when I would start to answer, she would interrupt by saying, "You don't just get locked up for nothing." Despite the fact that thousands of people per year are incarcerated yet found to be not guilty. Ramona Lopez also said, "You are just trying to blame everyone but yourself, and you belong in an institution, and you are a child," and a bunch of other insults. See, this is the thing when men are abused and they try to turn it in. This is how we're treated. This is literally how we are treated when we try to turn in our predators. It ain't a lot better for women, but by comparison, it is a lot better for women. Let's see, and a bunch of other insults. Anything but allowing me to finish a sentence. I also, again, was denied medical services over my injuries. I tried my best to explain that Jen Beebe was a major safety risk, and Ramona Lopez tried to pretend I was safe because I was on the other side of the locked door. Miss Lopez also tried to pretend Jen Beebe can't be predatory because she didn't punch me in the face. Well, that's just completely stupid. I got a few of these books. This is the last page, of course. Um, but there's, like I said, there's a lot more to it. Here's some more. This one is at the hospital. The deputies, Hahn and Selhorst, told staff I was bipolar, which was the excuse Dual County Sheriff Scott Costa used for not looking at evidence on the wrongdoing of Deputy Jordan Anderson several months earlier. All of this was over the death of Natalie Bollinger and how law enforcement ignored all crimes against me by the Bollinger family, their friends, and a bunch of public/law enforcement/media. By the time Jen met with me in December of 2019 at Scottsbluff Jail, the abuse by Dual County cops and residents was dangerous at best and often violent. Jen was supposed to help me get housing and my disability money back. It was court ordered, but Jen ignored all my calls for 6 months, and a lady named Megan had to help me to do those things. Jen Beebe had to be investigated by Region 1, who never took my statements on her misconduct. And when she finally did call me in June or July of 2020, I recorded it and put it on YouTube. She used her job at Region 1 inappropriately, and I was harmed over it, so I spoke out on YouTube. Jen Beebe lost her job due to professional misconduct, of which my statements did play a part. The last time I saw Jen Beebe was in booking at Scottsbluff County Jail Detention Center in December of 2019 in Room B, but it wasn't the last time we spoke, and that's when it goes to the next one that I just read. But I mean, there's quite a bit in here, you know. I mean, I just had to try to get the word out somehow. They wouldn't allow it though. That's one of the things that they kept on doing, is denying me the resources to contact anyone so that I could do anything about this. I was prevented from talking to my lawyer for almost 40 days. Sorry, public pretender. I can't say lawyer. He was not interested in doing his job. He was not interested in defending me. He was interested in the free fucking money that he got. And he did get free money for pretending that he was going to do his job, but he never did. When they reassigned me to a new public defender, well, it didn't take long for them to drop the charges. But then again, they had to drop the charges to prevent the body camera evidence from being entered in. So by loosely associating me as a guilty person, as a guilty party, by telling everybody in town, and they do this on the radio, by the way. When you're arrested, they announce it on the radio what you were arrested for. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. And that's the thing with ostracization. See, I believe in ostracization if you're guilty. But if you're never allowed the chance to prove your innocence, and that's the way it really is in the world. You are guilty until proven innocent. And they can deny you the right to prove your innocence. They have, they do, and they will continue until something is done about it, until someone fights for us. The way that John Brown fought for black people. That's right. Black people did not have a voice. They had to depend on white people to give them a voice, white people to give up their lives to allow black people to have a voice. We don't have that for people who are disabled. We don't have that for the homeless. The homeless are your socially acceptable victims. Now look at some of the insults that this guy wanted to throw at me as if somehow being this asshole makes it okay. He wants to talk about how I like to stalk and harass people and calls me a pedophile and claims I fucked, well, I don't know whose mother. Might have been his. Let's ask him. Hey, Fred Turner, I've had sex twice my whole life. Once with Brianna Hernandez Cordona. Is she your mother? The other one was with Rand Ingersoll. And, well, I'm fairly certain that since that was less than 3 years ago, you probably wouldn't be able to type as well as you do. So, as far as being a motherfucker, well, yes, Rihanna was a mother when I had sex with her. As far as being a pedophile, not a chance in hell. There's a reason that Robert Warnick is on the sex offender registry and I'm not. That's because he is a sex offender. Now let's see what it says about him. Let's see. Nebraska sex. Oh, see, it's the second one on the list. Nebraska Sex Offender Registry. Let's look this up. Search by name. First name, Robert. Oh, it's already up. Last name, oh, Warnick. It's already up. Submit. Let's see what it says. View details. And then we'll scroll down. It says sexual assault of a child. That's what it says. Matter of fact, I'm going to copy and we'll post this right over here. This is what he's charged with. Sexual assault of a child, F4. Now I'm going to look up my name on this. Let's see. Oh, it says your search for Sean Schwartz did not provide any results. So I'll post that up for y'all too. As far as harassing people, oh yeah, I'll admit to that. I certainly do. People are allowed to harass me, but I'm not allowed to harass them back. That's a little bit stupid, don't you? Meanwhile, what are these people harassing me to do? Many of them harass me to kill myself. You should just kill yourself. You should just kill yourself. There's a guy typing, if anything happens to you, oh well. And that's what happens when pretty girls, in specific, pretty white girls who are strung out on drugs, want to lie because